Hey guys, welcome back to TheTopher Drives and welcome back to my personal 2006 Porsche Cayman S. This is a car that I have now owned for almost 4 years. I got this thing late in 2019, right before the world shut down and cars became unobtainable. But in my almost 4 years of ownership, embarrassingly, I've only put about 4,000 miles on this car, so that averages out to about 1,000 a year, which honestly is probably pretty normal for some people that own cars like this, but I like to think of myself as a driving enthusiast, and I feel like I should be driving this car quite a bit more. So that's kind of what this video is going to be about today. This is my celebratory drive that it is finally spring. I can finally get this thing out and drive it and put it through its paces. It's currently sitting at 35,995 miles. So we'll hopefully level it up today together to 36,000 as long as it makes it 5 miles down the road here, which I'm crossing my fingers that it does. It has no reason not to. So we're just going to go out for a nice little spirited drive today. Talk about what this thing's been like to own for the past 4 years. And hopefully commit to driving this thing a bit more this year. I just got a new plate for it, TOF 987, and well, it's the same plate I had before, but I got a brand new one when I renewed the tabs for this year, which is very expensive on this car. It's like almost $500 here in Michigan to renew registration on this 987 Cayman S. So if you guys don't know the story about this car, as I said, got it late 2019. I had been looking for one of these for so long. This is my ideal spec, guards red over natural brown with Carrera sport wheels. It's got a sport steering wheel, and that's just about it. It's got the Bose audio and a couple other little things, but not a super high option car. MSRP was like 71,000 or something like that. So it's got about 12 grand in options or something, 10 grand in options. So, all right. Here's the interior. It's natural brown, pretty rare for a Cayman. Usually you only see gray, black, or sand beige. So not super common on a Cayman to see natural brown or red or blue. Blue's another pretty rare color, but actually more common than the natural brown. Let's go ahead and hop in. Porsches of this era have such a distinct smell. I grew up around my uncle's 2008 Porsche Cayman S, and it smelled exactly the same as this car. So when I get in this car, there's still a little bit of nostalgia to growing up around Porsches, and that is another reason I love this car so much. Pretty clean interior in this car, other than a couple little chips up here. Pretty common for 987s to kind of have some issues with these trim panels, the paint chips off of them, but you can buy special touch-up paints just for this issue, so I'll probably end up doing that at some point. Anyways though, let's go ahead and take out our key. We'll fire this thing up, roll the windows up, and then we'll take it out on a drive. I don't know how much talking I'm going to do in today's drive. I just kind of wanted to take you guys along with me for my first drive of spring here in the Cayman S. So it'll be a pretty chill video, and if you want to just kind of flip this phone over, if you're trying to fall asleep, you just want to listen to some noises here of the Cayman S, I guess now would be the right time to do that. We'll have a little bit of talking, but also we'll listen to this 3.4 liter flat six sing just a little bit. Do our oil measure here. We're up to temp, we're on a flat surface, and we are above minimum, so we are all good to go. Let's get our windows rolled up here. Okay, cool. So I reset my trip odometer before I left my house, so right now we are sitting at 7.7. And I'm hoping to drive this car 1,000 miles this season. Because even though I said I've put 4,000 miles on this car, a lot of that was driving it back from where I bought it, which was in Virginia. So that was like 600 or 700 of the miles right there. And then another large chunk of it was when I actually daily drove this car up at college for about 4 months. That was probably another 1,000. So really, in the last 3 years, I've only put about 2,000 miles on the car, and it looks like a horse maybe has gone to the restroom there in the middle of the road. Oh, big bird. Hello. Anyways though, yeah, the last 2 years, embarrassingly, I'm just gonna put it out there because you guys are allowed, I'm giving you permission to give me a hard time in the comments for not driving this car. I want to say last year I only put like 400 miles on this car, which is very disappointing. I want to drive this thing more. So I've reset the trip there. Right now it's at 8 miles, and I'm really hoping to get that to 1,000. That is my goal for this summer, is to put 1,000 miles on this car. I absolutely love driving this thing. And I think part of the reason why I don't drive it, and I've said this in a couple of my last videos, is the fact that it keeps going up in value, and it stresses me out because it's the most expensive thing I own, and just the thought of taking it out and someone hurting it just kills me. But I need to get past that mindset, because even if something did happen to it, it's not the end of the world. I have insurance, it'll be okay. But I need to get past this whole thing where I worry too much in general, and I'm really trying to not worry as much about this car. Just need to get out, drive it, and it should stay fresh. Interestingly, I had a blinking check engine light when I started it earlier, but it blinked for like 5 seconds and then went away. So I don't know what that was about. We'll see if it comes back during this drive. I'm hoping it does not. But that was the first time the car's been started since I think October, because it sat all winter. It's now May here in Michigan, and this is the first week of actual decent weather. So I decided to put insurance back on the Cayman and get it out. It's kind of hard to hear that 3.4 liter over this horribly rough road. This road, when I say rough, I mean like the actual surface. In Michigan, they do this thing where like every other year they throw down like this grit on the road, and then it like glazes over and just makes the road louder. I don't know why they do it. Probably for some sort of BS preservation method. But anyways, just going to be kind of paying attention to things here, taking it all in, make sure everything's still okay. 3 miles away from our level up to 36,000. I love the sound of that flat six. And it's right behind me. It's in the interior of the car. That was like the biggest thing for me, and you all may have seen this when I drove the 718 GT4 RS. Having that motor in the car with you just adds a whole other element. It's super cool. This car's fairly easy to drive. I mean, anyone that has ever operated a manual before could hop in this thing and drive it pretty smoothly. All the controls feel pretty similar to a newer Porsche with a manual. Porsche hasn't really changed their clutch or shifter feel since this generation of car, in my opinion anyways. If anything, they may have gotten just a little bit notchier, a little bit more simulated feeling. But this car's in a nice era because it kind of blends the usability of a new car with the feeling and soul of an older sports car. A lot of people like to say that the 987 chassis car still gives you that connected air-cooled feel. Now, I've never driven an air-cooled Porsche, so I can't confirm nor deny that, but it's what a lot of the enthusiasts like to say, so I suppose we'll take their word for it. But this car does drive phenomenally. Downshifts there. Lots of people out here are tractoring. I guess that's a thing you do in May. Do lots of tractoring, stir up lots of dust. Oh, it's about to happen. 35,999. Oh, is it going to happen as we pass the orange house? That would be the most epic moment in Topher Drive's history. Come on, please. There's the orange house. And change. It hasn't changed. Maybe over the bridge. I've only leveled up this car a few times, so this is exciting for me. There you go, 36,000. Haha. Good stuff. I love the steering feel on this car. Porsche had a lot of good things going for him in this generation. They had just kind of exited the 986 and 986 generations of cars, which people don't really like all that much for some reason. I have no problem with them, but a lot of people don't like the way they look. They're known for having some reliability issues. So this was a nice fresh start for Porsche when they introduced the 997 in 2005, the 987 in 2006. Well, sorry, 997, 911, and 987 Boxster in 05, and then 06 we got the Cayman. And the 987.1 only lasted for 3 years, 06 to 08. The Cayman and Boxster got facelifts in 2009, and they put a slightly more reliable engine in the car as well, removing IMS, which is what scares a lot of people away from Caymans, but it also makes them quite obtainable. The 2009, 2012, or whatever cars are quite a bit more expensive, so if you want to run the risk, these cars are quite obtainable. I guess it's good we just plan on doing a pretty chill drive today, because there is a fair amount of traffic on our route. That's okay, we like sharing the road. Hello, Mr. Tractor. We're going to put this down because I cannot see. Let's see, how much faith do I have in these old Michelin Pilot Super Sports? Also, man, mid-engine cars are weird. I'm still like a little bit weary to push this thing super hard, because I have pushed it hard before, and I've had the weird, like, the snap where it like violently understeers and then immediately violently oversteers. So, not the biggest fan of when that happens for obvious reasons, but you're still able to drive this thing pretty spiritedly. You can drive it within reason, and it'll treat you just fine. Let's give this guy a little bit of room here. Listen to those harmonics. Porsches always have like this whine to them. The new ones do it. The real old ones do it. The ones in the middle do it. So silky getting up to speed there, and the gears are so long. I want to say the top speed on this, yeah, 190. It'll do 190. I'm pretty sure the claimed top speed on this car is like 191, or maybe it's high 180s, 189, something like that. I don't know, but speedo goes to 190, and I am pretty sure you're able to use that whole thing if you want. So, kind of neat. I think neat is kind of like my new word. I've been saying neat all the time. If you watch me on the TheTopher as well, I've just been using the word neat. I just reviewed a Mobility Ventures MV1, which is a purpose-built handicap van, if you're unfamiliar. And I'm going to have to put like a neat count, because I think I said that word just a little bit too much. Also, sorry about the visor. I usually like to try and not use the visor when I film POV, but the sun is blinding. We'll put it up when we go around the corner up here. I'm also trying to get rid of all of this petrol that's in the car, because it's all from last year, and I want to fill this up with some fresh fuel. Some fresh petrol. That looks like Charlie. Yep, brakes still good. Yeah, quite good. And at highway speeds, you're revved just under 3,000 RPM. So EPA highway fuel on this car is high 20s. So pretty usable. I really think, as funny as it sounds, this is quite a nice daily driver. And I did it for a little bit up at college, and it was great. If you're a single man, look no further. I would maybe like an Alcantara steering wheel in here because my hands are a little bit clammy. Front end feels pretty dialed. Right, well, this is good. Oh, that is some animal there. A beaver, perhaps? He didn't even flinch as I drove by. Usually animals run away. Turkeys, what you really should do is go out, buy a Cayman S, but don't buy one that's as nice as this car. Buy one that's like $22,000, that's done 80,000 miles with a manual. That's not a bad spec, but just not a super desirable one, like silver on black. Not offensive, but still looks good on this car. And just drive the crap out of it. You've got mounts on the roof for a roof rack. You can run one of those if you'd like. And just travel the country. And if you have a little bit more cash, you can go for a 987.2, which is what a lot of people say is the best Cayman, because it's all this, but with a more reliable motor. So, basically what I'm trying to say is you should have a Cayman. And if you're not like me, and if you don't really worry about your cars too much, it is perfect. I had some real great times in this car when I dailied it up at college. That was fun. My buddy Sean, who I went to school with, dailied a Cayman GT4 up at school. We were the only two Caymans on campus, and both of our cars are guards red. And I remember Sean's acquaintances or friends that didn't really know too much about cars were like, "Hey, have you seen that other GT4 that's on campus?" So, you know, you look at this car, which is like worth 35 grand, and then Sean's GT4, which is worth like 90, and people just see them as the same exact car, which is hilarious. Into town here. I'm just about getting ready to wrap up our video. Let me know what you guys want to see this year as far as my personal cars go. I know this hasn't been a super traditional video. I haven't said as much, but by now you all are probably already familiar with this car. We've got videos up on the TheTopher. We've got videos, or I've got one more video up on my channel. So, I've told the story on this car. If you want to learn more about this thing, circle back to the older videos. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for hanging out with me and joining the family. But yeah, if you want to, you know, get the full story on this thing, the other videos down below if I remember, but if I don't remember, which is very possible, you can find one from last year on here, as well as on the TheTopher. Bumps are blowing out the mics. Similar NVH to the BMW XM, which unfortunately I was not able to film for you all, but you can go over to the TheTopher and watch his video on there. But I was hoping to be able to film the BMW XM last week, but unfortunately I was traveling. I was out of town doing a stunt driving school at Bobby Orr Motorsports. So I spent like 5 days in Florida last week. So I had to cram a week's worth of content into 2 days last week. So that was very busy. But getting back into the groove of things now. We are entering Saline, Michigan, which means I'm going to go the exact speed limit, because I have been pulled over here before and it was not fun, and the officer lied to me and tried putting points on my license. But shout out to Off the Record for getting me out of that. Get a little bit of squeak from those brakes once they're warm. I don't know what that's about, but that's just how she goes. All right, guys. Well, that's going to end it for us today. Thank you so much for coming along with me for my first spring drive in the Cayman S. Let's hope we do some more of these over the next few months. I definitely want to take this car out and drive it some more, though. This is like the 5th time I've said that. Let's do one last walk around. The sun is setting. God, I love Guards Red. Oh, man, I love this car so much. Okay. Thanks again so much for watching, and well, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Oh, and let me know which personal cars you want to see. M Roadster, Cayman S, Cobalt SS, Lexus IS300 5-speed manual. Open to suggestions, but that'll wrap it up today. See you guys next time.